Aloha, my name is Dare.
My name is Garrett.
My name is Jake.
And we are
To be continued.
where we continue all your favorite movies, TV, and anything else pop culture related.
Today's topic is going to be 300.
Rise of Rome. Or
I don't know.
Is
That's
it?
actually... we probably should have done a little bit of historical research.
I feel like that was more of a joke on my end because that's the one no one ever brings up. So like, it would be really anticlimactic. Someone's like 300, yes, and then I'm just like Rise of Rome. Oh fuck, I hate that one. Like, god damn.
I was thinking it'd be cool to like see like an anthology, like some like so we have the 300, but maybe throw it in like a different time or a different culture, something like that.
Okay.
That's a good... Have like the three, like from the 300 series or... because the only reason they called it 300 was because of the 300 soldiers. All right, we
do
can't
like
go that
300 and then like have some Egyptians like that. Yeah, I got what you mean.
Wow, Egypt. Ancient Egypt.
Egypt or like,
What are
I
some
was thinking like the Huns.
Oh,
Like
that's a
the-
great
The
one.
Huns. They're like,
I want it to be like, have like some cool like lead off, like at the end of 300 or something, or whichever one ended last, like Rise of an Empire, there's like a feather, like a bird or something, and then the bird's flying away, and then it ends up landing on a thing, and it's like, God, it gets like stabbed, and it's by Attila the Hun. It's like, boom, transition.
Yeah, okay, so like that's the
dope.
opening
That's
of it.
dope.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Like,
I was
just so you
thinking
know
that
it's in the
whole
same
way.
universe, you know?
I was like, that's so beautiful. and then you killed it.
He killed
I was
the
like,
fucking thing.
wow, this would be a really pretty film. And then and
Okay,
then
maybe
actually-
not such an aggressive start to the movie.
No, that'd be a
but
great start.
it would
No,
set the
like-
tone.
It would
Yeah.
set the tone for sure.
Man, it would be nice to see it in like as far as like visually, a lot of like blues and like cold colors when you like transition to the Huns, because 300 had a lot of like bright orange and like just that warm feeling. That
Zack
hot,
Snyder,
like,
man.
Mhm.
Zack Snyder does some crazy stuff, except for Batman vs Superman. But
I think everything he does though is just so like visually
Yeah.
pleasing that
Super
like
pleasing.
even if it's
Watchmen
not
was
the
the
best
same
quality,
way.
it's okay. 'Cause
I mean,
it's-
as far as like
it looks pretty.
it does. Like
looks
as far as
damn
story,
pretty.
it goes like downward, but like it looks beautiful. Like the scenery, it's like a painting, like an artwork on a lot
Right.
of this.
It looks straight out of a comic book with like the cases
Yes.
of like Sucker Punch and like even
Oh,
Batman
I
v
love that,
Superman,
dude.
Sucker
but-
Punch was great.
even
man.
like
I love
how
those
like it
scenes.
was like slowed down or like during like key moments made it super comic booky or whatever to me. I don't know.
I freaking love the style, like
Yeah.
the swords, like I love the whole style of it. Like that's what really got me.
I think it's just so like gritty too, like just very like
Oh my God! Like the
you know,
guy.
like they just show it and they're like, this is like maybe not exactly how it is. It's very dramatized, but like even though it's so dramatized, you're like, oh, this is so brutal that I believe it. You know what I mean? It's like, oh hell yeah, this shit is I don't know. When that movie came out, I feel like that whole Spartan kick thing was such a meme before memes were really memes. That
Oh
like,
my God! Yes,
violence
that was
like
what you
that
just did
is,
with
like-
like your friends, just Sparta kicking, bro.
But you immediately knew it was
Maybe
like
you
a
guys didn't do
300
that, but-
reference.
Yeah.
And you, like that was just so telling of just how brutal and like gritty that thing was.
My
Like
friend
you
yells
know
out,
what I
like,
mean?
"This is madness."
This is
And then,
Sparta.
exactly.
I mean,
The best part was he looks to like his wife and she's just like, "Fucking
Yeah,
kick him,
yeah.
bro. Do it."
I feel like the 300 Halloween costume was really popping for one Halloween too, and then after that it
Yeah.
never was popping
No.
again. But I don't know.
Ooh.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe
Well-
people are still showing up in the Gerard Butler shit. But
Yeah, those
I
guys.
remember like
who
my
just, like, I
senior
just wanna-
year.
Yeah.
A lot
No.
of people were rocking that.
2 years ago, Party City, they still had those shields.
No.
They had those like big old
Yeah, and they're like
shields.
$30 for a piece of styrofoam.
Yeah.
okay.
You want to talk about Minecraft like mask, just cardboard? People pay like $30 for those things just to
The
wear 'em
cardboard.
Wow.
around. Yeah, like
Oh,
so they
man.
look like
Oh, the
it's a
creeper,
box.
yeah,
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 the
I get
creeper.
you.
Yeah. What do you guys think about Zack Snyder taking on like a World War I film or like a World War II?
That would be
Right.
really good. Is it still in the 300 universe?
No. I feel like Zack Snyder to me is a lot like I've kind of showed my hand. He's very style over substance for me. It's not.
Yeah,
There's
totally.
It's like a very pretty puddle, but the puddle's like 3 inches deep. Like there's not much like
Yeah.
underneath the surface.
I could not
you know
have
what
put that better
You
myself.
know what I mean? Like,
That
it's
was,
just
like,
like
perfect.
it's a very pretty puddle. Like you just like fuck, that's
Yeah.
cool, and then like you just realize that underneath it there's not much going on.
Damn,
and
this
I
is
feel like that's a
boring.
lot of his movies, and they're not always bad. Like I don't know if I would call. I mean, Batman v Superman for me. I'm gonna preface this for everybody listening. I turned 21 the day Batman v Superman came out. So
was
for
a
the
rough birthday.
the coming into those 3 months, hell, even like the year leading up to it, I was like, yo, friends, you know what we're doing? Like, we're going to Batman v Superman.
Like
we're gonna
bar?
go see it at midnight.
Forget it,
we're
bro.
gonna go to one of those
We ain't
theaters.
going to no
I can
bar.
get some beer. Like, it'll be sick. Like, let's go. Okay, so that didn't happen. I didn't get into that movie theater, but I saw that movie. Okay, and I remember taking all these people like into like the movie of their lifetime. Like, I'm leading the crowd. Like, I'm like, guys, I'm about
This is
to
gonna
turn
be the best
21,
movie ever.
and this is gonna be the best movie ever. Exactly, dude. I looked over. My friend fell asleep because that thing's hella long.
Yeah.
We actually like the movie was so long. By the way, I saw it at like 10 that I missed last call. I couldn't even get like a real beer at the bar that we went to after because it like got out at like 1:30 and like it was like already, bro. That's what I'm trying to say is like I watched one of the worst movies ever, and still to this day I will say it's not the worst, but I do have a definitive bias cold shoulder because of that traumatic experience.
I mean, there's
so,
like worse
just for
movies that are
context.
like
Oh
fun
no,
to watch. but-
that set the tone.
yeah.
We saw Batman vs Superman together.
Oh,
I was
really?
in
We
his
were-
hometown.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that was so random. What was the original reason we went? I don't even
It
remember.
was spring
But
break. I was just coming up for a visit.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah, that was a good time. Yeah, we ended up doing some crazy shit, and one of them, the least crazy thing was seeing Batman vs Superman.
Nice, dude. I
We
mean,
were so pumped for that
was
movie.
it? Did
I
you guys
was
like?
so pumped,
At what
dude.
point did you realize it wasn't really leading into like a good movie?
I want to say I was. You go first. I want to hear you first.
Well, I was gonna say as soon as like you see Batman or Bruce Wayne like running into the building, and then after that, the rest of it was like, oh, this is a lot different than like anything I had hoped for.
Wait, which part running into the building?
Like the first like 5 minutes. So that's why I was laughing. As the building.
yeah,
I'm like, okay, Bruce is like, yeah, okay, and then there's like the rest of the movie where all the Superman scenes where he's in the desert, it just doesn't feel like
Oh my
connected, and
God,
it's just
dude.
kind of
Yeah.
Let's
loses
tease
me.
dark side.
I mean,
Not give him anything. My thing with Batman vs Superman, it was just like, I'm sitting there, you know, I'm all prepped up in my chair, ready to go, bro. It's fucking 2 years we've been waiting for this shit, and I just every 10 minutes just slumped a little bit lower in my chair.
Yeah.
And then I was waiting, and then they released that super sick fight scene where like Batman just kicks a bunch of guys' asses.
Still
It was-
one of the best
dude,
fight
such a
scenes,
Batman.
though.
Still
Batman
to this
scenes,
day,
yeah.
shout out to Zack Snyder for that one.
That's the Arkham.
It was a great scene.
fighting.
But
Yeah.
why would you
Yeah,
put that in
straight
the
up,
trailer,
like,
dude?
that's-
Totally got my hopes up that this whole movie was gonna be just like that.
Oh, I thought it was gonna
And
be
that
so
was the
badass.
only cool part of the movie.
I was like, this Batman's scary. And then when I saw him, I was like, this Batman's old. And I was just like, shit, dude. I don't know. I mean, Ben Affleck isn't even. It's like those characters are not even bad when you just look at them by themselves sometimes.
No.
Dude,
but
he's
it's
a
like the
drunk
way
in
that
the
movie was put together is so badly. Okay, that is one of the few times where I'm audibly laughing at the editing.
Yeah.
And like, I felt so bad. Like, it's on my birthday.
It's on my brain.
I literally got to the halfway mark where like all my friends are like, "Oh, bro, Garrett, like I already know you hate this, and like you don't even have told yourself that you hated it." Like I was in denial.
I was in denial.
Dog. I was like, "No,
For a
it's
while.
cool. No, it's cool." And then I looked at my friend Hobie and I was like, "Bro, I hate this." And he's like, "I've hated this since like 20 minutes ago." And I was like, "Fuck, dude." And then like it got to the point where by the time I heard that fucking kick-ass Wonder Woman theme and then she came in, I was like, "Oh no, the movie's
Oh,
saved. It's
yeah.
a good
It's like,
movie now."
yeah.
And then I had to be honest with myself, like. That one scene doesn't save the movie, but
Oh my
that's the one
God.
thing everyone talked about.
We were so confused after, like, as soon as the movie was over, me and Jake, like, look at each other, like, did you like that? And then it was,
I didn't
like,
know. I was like,
it was just
It
confusing.
just felt like someone
It's-
threw up on screen, dude. Like there was a
Yeah.
lot going on.
Dude.
Like for it
Yeah,
to
there's
end
a lot
Doomsday.
going on.
For what- how
Doomsday
it
was literally just
started-
the abomination.
and how it ends with Superman dying. You
Yeah.
would think that there's 5 hours of exposition to explain that, and there's like still 2.5, but still like there was like I felt like those are two movies kind of spliced together at one
Yeah.
point. Like you know what I mean? And it was
No, no.
very
Yeah, you're
weird.
totally right.
Like
God,
with the
I-
whole dark side thing.
they
like,
did way too
like,
much.
It felt like it
With
was
the
like
Flash and all that. Yeah,
I
a
know.
It was a
prequel
lot
to
more.
Justice League with like a real Batman v Superman kind of like first act.
It
to be
was-
honest,
yeah.
like I was
Kind of, but
almost
it's not still not good.
I was almost offended when they did that scene where they showed like Aquaman and like the Flash, and it's like, no, you can't do that, man. You
Oh,
can't
we're-
just build like that and expect
Well-
everyone to just be super down with it all of a sudden. Like,
It wasn't even like an Easter egg. It was like a trailer, you know, like for another like an
a
upcoming
trailer
movie.
in a movie.
where
Yeah.
Aquaman swam through like this.
Just
Don't get me wrong, I am absolutely
What?
pumped for the
What
Aquaman
the fuck
movie.
is he holding
Yeah.
his breath? He
The
can-
Aquaman movie looks sick.
Oh, the Aquaman movie looks
It looks
brilliant.
fun,
James
yeah.
Wan looks like he's killing it and having a good ass time, dude. That
It-
guy made The Conjuring. Like he made Fast and Furious 6, 7,
One of-
7. He made
yeah,
Fast 7.
I
So like,
can't remember.
if you think about those two movies and then you just look at how much fun he's having with Aquaman, I'm like, dude, this guy's like can do a lot of different shit. Like as far as building a whole underwater world, shooting it from that like practical perspective is like no small feat. And then he also made one of the scariest movies like in the past few years. Like those are different
I've
things.
yet to see
you
The
know?
Conjuring.
Oh, The Conjuring's scary as piss, but I will watch it because it's a legit good film. Like it's impressive. And this guy like also gave us the guy who's directing Shazam or whatever.
The same guy.
Shazam looks
Oh, yeah,
sick.
yeah,
I
David
forgot
Sandberg
about
from
that.
Shazam,
Wow.
yeah.
David F.
We shouldn't
Sandberg?
sleep on the DCEU.
Well, I like the idea of worlds of DC.
They're switching
because
it up,
that the whole DC extended universe. Like the only thing that I see it could work is with the whole Flashpoint, and that would really make the Flashpoint story impactful if like they changed the actors after the movie.
So sick.
Like if he went back in time,
good.
changed the actors, and changed the tone, he's like, this is way out of my element and stuff. But he just goes with it.
But like
'cause,
winks at the
it's-
camera, and then we all get goosebumps. I almost got goosebumps just thinking about it. Like he's just like he's the audience at that point. But
Yeah.
he also could just be like happy because he fixed whatever the problem was. You know what I mean? So it's like
So, yeah,
that's
he can be the
meta.
savior.
That's
He's
so
like, yeah.
meta for the audience's perspective. That's why I'm saying that. It's
Like
like
the
a big
actual hero.
allegory for the fucking like how we feel. And like
Yeah.
if they just had like I don't know. Army Hammer would just be Batman. And you're just like, oh, he's young again. Like this could be sick, or Jake Gyllenhaal, or whatever the hell they do.
And you
But-
could just
yeah.
explain it by like time waves or whatever you want to call it, because then they'd be introducing the rules of time in that universe and stuff,
Right.
and the people are just like, cool.
Which they desperately need.
They just don't have a. They just don't have a guy who's.
They just need a new
figureheading it.
Batman.
You think that's the problem?
No, they need a whole lot more than that, but we could start
They just
there.
need to make good movies. I mean, that's it.
Well-
It's just like I know that sounds like that's easy, but it's not. I'm
I
just
mean,
saying
you
that,
had
like,
they had so much potential, bro. You started with Man
Well,
of
actually,
Steel.
yeah, they have a
It
lot
was
of material to
It
work
was a
with, too.
perfect beginning. DC, some of the coolest stories I've ever read in my life.
It's just-
it's just
Man of Steel, I don't think was perfect, but it was a great introductory. Like it had
totally.
a good connected
I
story.
actually think that movie's good. Like,
They
I
talked about-
I like it I like it more every time I watch it, and that's weird, but that happens.
Well, that's a good film then. If it like can do that for you.
they had talked about doing like a kind of end credit scene where it had like kryptonite showing up to like the Wayne Manor. But then they just ended up with like that satellite scene. Remember where he throws the satellite and it says
it's a Bruce
Wayne
or
on it?
Wayne.
I like that
It's
more. I like that though.
I didn't even catch that in the actual movie.
Oh no, I didn't.
Yeah, it
that
took
was
me
just
some-
all
some
those
trailer breakdown
reviews.
videos.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
of course.
Shout out Emergency Awesome.
Yeah. That guy just breaks down it with a microscope. Fine tune comb. Picks through that shit.
So back to 300.
Oh yeah, 300.
Yeah, I was thinking like now we're just doing like Zack Snyder. What do you want to take on?
Yeah, I like
how
this
would you-
direction that we
yeah.
took.
I feel like it's hard to talk about Zack Snyder right now because he's just on Vero doing his thing, and he's not really making movies. I mean, he lost
And
a
he needs some
daughter.
time
recently,
off, yeah.
but his last film, we can't be shy about it. He literally got kicked off of it. So it's like, if you're gonna bring up Zack Snyder,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like, oh
wow,
fuck, like
I forgot how
Yeah.
we.
it says directed by Zack Snyder, and it wasn't directed by Zack Snyder. You
Are we
know
just
what I
gonna
mean?
like
Josh
by the
Whedon
fact
Yes,
that
exactly,
Joss
yeah.
Whedon did
Joss
it?
Whedon.
Yeah.
Avengers director. That was just.
He didn't do all of it, but
No,
he did do like that's the whole part.
The
like-
literal like DGA, like Directors Association or whatever, like that is like the rule is that if his name's on it, he shot more than 50%. So he shot 51%.
Oh, and for some
But-
reason, don't they not
But with his case, it's
award
weird.
co-directors or something?
Yeah,
Or
you
there's-
can't have co-directors. There's one director, so you can either be in the like guild as like two people under one name type
Oh,
thing,
yeah.
like the brothers or like
Oh.
whatever, the Wachowskis or however you want to go about it. Like the Duffer Brothers with Stranger Things or
Cool.
whoever, like you know what I mean. Those guys are all under one name, from what I understand.
The
But
Russo
it can never be the Russo brothers.
Russo
Yeah,
brothers.
Just, yeah.
same thing. But you can have like Joss Whedon and Zack Snyder on the bill for whatever
Especially
reason.
that, yeah.
Yeah, but
'Cause then
his situation is just weird though, because you could tell he's very much is just like, no, I got like fired, but then they didn't announce it till his daughter passed or whatever. So then it was like more like he's stepping down, and then he's like, no, I just got kicked off. Like I don't.
it didn't like that doesn't relate to my
yeah,
daughter.
yeah,
Like,
like,
don't make it
you
look
do-
like
yeah,
to
so-
save themselves and stuff. Yeah, I
So
gotcha.
that's why I was like, I
Yeah.
think we went down that hole, because it's like Zack Snyder's a really hard filmmaker to talk about, because it's like, what does he do next? Because he's not making a DC movie. Does he go back to 300? If he does, what do you guys want to see? Obviously, we should talk about that. But that's
he's
probably
big.
why. There's a lot going on in that guy's life. Like
He definitely does good comic book stuff. So at least
Oh
for
my-
comic book visuals.
He did Watchmen, right?
Yeah.
Watchmen, I love, man. Like
It's a frame by frame if you've ever looked at the actual
Yeah.
graphic novel too. Like there's so many good side by sides where you're just like, oh, this guy like went page for page essentially, especially like the
exactly.
the 3 hour
Alan-
and 30.
Alan Moore's the writer.
Yeah.
right?
Was it
Yeah.
3 hours?
Well, there's a director's cut, and that's
Oh,
the one on
okay.
Amazon right now that me and Chad tried to watch, and I think we both fell asleep. But it's literally 3 hours and 30 minutes. But
Damn,
or
that's
3 hours
crazy.
and 40. It's like fucking ridiculous. And then the other ones.
Dances with
So maybe it's
Wolves.
3 hours and like 25, and then the other one's like 240 theatrical.
Is that
like,
the
it's
one-
fucking long, dude.
Is that the one with the comic book scenes in it?
Yeah.
That is crazy because all of a
Where it
minute
goes
like
into,
you're
like,
just
the-
watching a different like movie because like it cuts
look up the
into these
runtime.
like scenes where it's like a comic book, like you're actually watching a motion comic, and then it goes back to reality, but or not reality, but like the Watchmen universe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In the Watchmen universe, Rorschach, the character that kind of like looks like Question,
Mhm.
Yeah.
he like shows up with his mask off throughout the movie, and he,
That's a
3 hour. Yeah,
335.
Oh my God.
that's just the runtime, right? That's not the director's.
That's
Is
the
that
director's.
cut?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the director's.
Dang, now I want to watch that.
Yeah.
Probably
330.
gonna watch
dude.
that tomorrow.
It's so insane. Yeah, it's on Amazon,
Yeah,
I think,
that's
right
a
now.
lot of filming.
Mhm.
That is a lot of
And
filming.
a lot of oh my god.
It's crazy to
That's
think
why
how
I
much
think
stuff
he
doesn't
almost
make
did go
it
frame for
into the
frame,
movies,
like-
you know?
Yeah, that's crazy. But it's almost like, I don't know. There's a lot in there where you're just like, especially when it does go into that visual like novel type
Yeah.
thing.
See, he does great. Like, I don't know. Why do you think he had such a different approach on like the Batman, or well, Batman v Superman?
I feel like, do you think it would be cool if he did just a Batman movie?
I don't even know it. Like,
Mm.
I feel like
can't
you
even
actually need
picture
a good
it,
amount of
dude. Like,
substance.
I know I
I
can't.
feel like he's been kicked down so much, dude. It's like
Yeah.
he can't touch that stuff for him.
No, he
Not-
definitely
can't
can't.
touch DC, but like,
Okay, what if
without
instead of doing
people
Batman versus Superman, he just did a Batman movie with Ben
I
Affleck?
don't know. Oh, what is it?
Sorry, I was just gonna say
Yeah.
like I could see him doing something like a Watchmen style graphic novel, like a Why the Last Man or something that people wanted to see for a while, or like something like that, or I don't know. Swamp Thing's already being developed, but like into a TV series, but something like that where you say it and people are like, oh yeah, I've heard of that,
Yeah.
but I don't really have an idea of what that is. Like if you say Watchmen, people think of Zack Snyder's Watchmen.
Yeah.
So if he does beautiful comic book stuff, maybe if he just doesn't touch the Supermans and the Spidermans, it would still
Sad.
work as his next
I
film.
think he works best like with like some like I wouldn't want to see him in a Batman unless he's like fighting someone
dark,
with
yeah.
a lot of like powers or a lot that he can express.
Yeah.
Like Poison Ivy or Clayface or something that he can work with. I
Poison
feel like
Ivy would be
it'll-
sick.
Poison
yeah.
Ivy would be beautiful on screen, dude.
Right.
Like, I mean,
Okay,
it
who
looked
would you
good in
want to play the modern Poison Ivy?
Chloe Grace Moretz.
Who's that?
That's
I
the
have
girl
to-
from like Kick-Ass. She played Head Girl.
Oh, cool.
Oh, okay, okay.
That's Poison Ivy.
How
I
old
don't
is she
know, like
now?
Emma Stone. She's probably like our age, dude. I think.
Is
Like
she?
24.
Yeah. I think
Maybe
she's a little
younger.
older.
Oh,
You think she's a
older?
little younger. I don't know. I
yeah,
always,
like honestly,
when she
I don't
plays
know.
like when actors play young roles, man, I know they're like 3 years older than that role or something.
I
Yeah,
said
you're
younger
right.
because she's been playing a high schooler for a minute, but I guess
Yeah,
she's now
no,
in that
It's
20.
like Tobey
20.
Maguire playing Peter Parker
Well,
the first
yeah.
time. It's like 30.
I was like,
I mean, Andrew Garfield was like
I mean, it looked
28.
normal to us because we were like 7, but
Yeah, that's another thing. Everyone looks old as fuck when you're young. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like 16-year-olds and like 18-year-olds, you can't tell the difference. They're just old. Like they're just older.
yeah,
than you.
dude, that is.
They're just older than you.
Dang.
But
Are we-
fucking Zack Snyder.
I'm thinking, are we
No.
talking 300?
No,
Like
in my-
DCEU
no,
or
you
Zack
know-
Snyder?
No, all I want to say is
Well, that's good.
Zack Snyder is older than us. That's all I got from
Yeah,
that.
Zack
That's all I got from that.
Oh, Poison
Really?
Ivy. We were thinking of.
Did you
Dude.
count that one right?
yeah.
I'm trying to think. There has to be someone super good. I don't know why I'm still stuck on this Poison
Maybe
Ivy
like
just
Emma
'cause-
Stone. Like if you want
Emma
to go,
Stone,
super
I-
cliche.
I would
Yeah.
want like a series. I don't know. If, like I like the Marvel movies. Sometimes they have a really too light of a tone. I'd like to actually see them like just stick with the story. Okay. It's better if I explain. I can't explain.
I feel like this is
Yeah.
now a to be continued Zack Snyder. Like what the fuck
Yeah.
should he do next?
What would?
Because
What if he
does
did
he do
like
next?
like a Jet Li type movie?
like a
like
Jet
karate?
Li, like a Karate Kid,
Like-
Zack Snyder's
I was
Karate
gonna say
Kid.
Karate Kid, but
That was- wow. That would give you
Take
so
it.
much hype to see that scene where he's
I
like
know.
lifting them, and we like get the audience like raising up slowly, and he's just like,
I feel like he would still
Sweep the
figure
leg.
it out. Like it'd be like if J.J. Abrams shot that scene and he'd still get the lens flare. Like you'd just be like, we're not like this doesn't make sense.
know
Really.
exactly.
Like you know what I
Did you
mean?
add that in? Did you really have- for what? For what reason?
So I'm trying to think of like Zack Snyder tropes like in that very like tense scene. Like it would either make it 1,000 times better or just derail the
Oh, no,
emphasis
yeah.
of everything. And that's what
And
sucks
there's no
about,
way to
like,
tell which one it would be
thinking
until you
about
saw
what
it.
he would- Oh, of course, man. Of course. Like Zack Snyder, I feel like he could probably do some crazy animation. Like
Yeah.
some crazy animated movie, and I'm not saying that's what I want him to do, but I feel like he has that in him to like
That's what
make
you
like
wanna
a
best use him for.
Lego movie style, like where that like
Yeah, yeah.
where it's like out of the box, where it's like it's really good to everybody. Like kids like it because it's animated, but like adults also fuck with it because it's just a really good concept. Like I feel like he has the mind to go balls to the wall, but he's clearly like so visual heavy that like he could accomplish even the craziest things where someone's like, yo, practically that isn't possible. And he's like, that's why we do visual effects. But in like an animated world, everything's possible. Like,
What
you know
about-
what I mean? You
That is
think about
true.
it, you draw it. Like you can pretty much do anything. Like
What about Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Oh
Zack
my
Snyder.
god.
I would only have problem just
That would
like
be
we said,
so
style
wild.
over substance, but
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
the
like,
same
that's
style
exactly
shit.
what you
were
describing, I feel
like.
That's so on point. That's what I'm thinking too. Like he could totally ride that live action animated thing. Like that's
Yeah.
the type of like out of the world thing that he could do with that animated stuff. Like he could go crazy. Like
Mary
real
Poppins.
Mary Poppins.
They're making a sequel to Mary Poppins that's
Who's
coming out
playing
this
her?
year.
Oh my god, it's gonna bother me so
what's
much.
it called?
Isn't it Emma Stone?
No, not Emma
That's not
Stone.
Emma Stone.
She has she's the girl from Live Die Repeat or what's that movie called? Not Live Die Repeat. Edge of Tomorrow.
Emily Blunt.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, okay.
Is that it?
Hmm?
Yeah, Edge of Tomorrow, that's Emily Blunt.
I'm pretty sure it's her.
I wanted to, because there's like.
That sounds fun. Like, yeah.
She's
Sounds
like
like it'd be a really good song.
she can sing from what I understand, but I don't know.
What was the story of Mary Poppins? It was just like a nanny comes down and like helps out these kids. Were they like bad kids turning good, or was it just like they needed someone?
I think like their parents like worked a bunch. Like
Oh.
they're like it was like
Oh.
kind of sad. Like I
Oh, yeah,
I thought it
Emily
was like
Blunt.
kind of a little sad.
Meryl
like a-
Streep's gonna be in it.
Yeah, Lin-Manuel Miranda is too.
Oh wow, it's coming out December.
Yeah.
Mark
like a
your
Christmas
calendars,
movie.
boys.
December.
We're going
Yeah.
to see Mary
A lot of
Poppins.
stuff's coming out in December. You got Aquaman.
Aquaman comes out in December.
I'm pretty sure, unless they pushed it to late November.
I wouldn't be surprised, but
Late November sounds like a better move from like my perspective,
Yeah.
but I don't know what's coming out. But
ooh, Venom
uh,
comes out tomorrow.
Yeah,
Does Star Wars come out next year?
yeah.
That's the next
We're
year.
a year off. Yeah, but
Mm.
I mean, what about Zack Snyder Star Wars movie? You think they would never let him?
Oh.
But I feel like that.
Disney wouldn't allow that. No way.
he needs material that he hasn't worked with, so he can like put his like
Mhm.
style on.
He'd have way too much.
But it's like a
he'd be
spin-off
controlled
movie.
way too
What
much.
if he just did like a
Oh, okay.
a
Spin-off.
Jar Jar Binks movie or
Jar Jar-
something crazy. You know what I mean? Like, but I'm just saying, like, that's the type of shit he could have his hand in, where no one's like.
Do you want to see a prequel to Jar Jar Binks? Like, watch him get kicked out.
I want to
of
know what he
school?
was up to between 1 and 2.
I feel like
No one
that would
wants to
be a
know
good
what he was
animated
doing between 1 and 2.
Good animated film for Zack Snyder for
Yeah.
Jar Jar Binks.
This new spin-off, it
Prequel.
takes place between episode 1 and episode 2. The crowd goes wild. They're like, oh, fuck yeah. Like, this is like some Anakin or Obi-Wan. Like, hell yeah, let's fucking go. And it's Jar Jar Binks.
Mob. angry mob.
Twitter fingers just
A prequel comic
Rampage.
is coming this December.
Oh jeez, dude, I'm having nightmares already.
What's up with these prequel comics? They're doing them for everything nowadays. don't
I
know
think
about
it's
that.
good. I think it's smart. I mean, at
get
least
it.
in
Like
in
a comic.
well, it's because if you're leading up, most people, the general public, doesn't know what the fuck's going on with most things anyway.
Well, the general public probably doesn't like read the prelude comics, but it's like a
You got me
great
there.
like hint or like taste for like the people who actually love it, and they're like, "Well, I want to know what they've been doing."
I get so
right.
pumped when I see the prequel comment. I'm just like,
Hell yeah. There you go. I'm wrong.
No, you're-
No. Your existence
shit,
proves
sorry.
that someone gets hyped about it. Where I'm just like,
I get hyped
in my
about
head,
it.
I was like, someone might, but like, I mean, obviously, if they keep doing prequel comics, then it's a proven thing that
Yeah.
people use them. So
Well,
yeah.
I've just
I bought the
never
one
seen
for
one and been like,
The Force
yes.
Awakens. I just remembered that.
That was
Those-
one that I was interested in. I will give you that because the comic book run was running for a minute, so there's like all those Vader comics. Like there was that one was like, okay,
I
yeah,
need
get
to read
you.
the Vader comics. I don't know how I haven't done that yet.
So I think it just like it's just based off niche then, like how
Yeah.
much you're into that fandom or like
Right.
that phrase.
100%.
Because then if you're like about that, then you'll read more about it. Because I don't know much about Harry Potter and the like Fantastic Worlds or
Beasts,
obviously
dog.
Fantastic
They're
Beasts,
fantastic
exactly.
beasts.
I really still have no interest in that.
Well, I watched it again and it was like fun.
Zack Snyder's Harry Potter.
No, that's
There we go.
Is that possible?
Universal does Harry Potter, right?
That would be cool. Actually, I'd be so down for that because then it
Yeah.
doesn't have to make sense. It doesn't have to make sense. It's magic, so he can just be like,
No, Warner
"Dah."
Brothers does Harry Potter.
That would be pretty.
Yeah.
I
Right?
think he can
'Cause
do that.
I don't
doesn't
know.
Warner Brothers do Harry Potter?
I know. I'm pretty sure that
Universal Studios.
No, I know
Like-
they're
no,
accurate,
Warner Brothers
Warner
definitely does Harry
movies?
Potter.
right?
Yeah. But isn't Harry Potter
they're in the
World
same
in
family.
Universal Studios?
They're like, Zach, don't look at Batman. Look at this Ron Weasley prequel. It's all about Ron, Zach. You're in.
Oh, God.
You're in, Zach.
The
You're
Weasley
in.
family.
Ah, man, like, I feel like we went away, and this is to the audience if they
Yeah.
hear this. I feel like we went away from the 300 to
Very,
be
yeah.
continued
Just a little
because
bit.
in the end, like, there's nothing that we know that he's doing. So it's like for us to be like to be continued on 300. It's like, no, what the fuck is he doing? Like as far
That's
as
more
like.
curious,
Like I feel like there's so many
We love
things
you,
that he
Zach.
could do because I feel like if he just sent a couple emails
Mm.
from like an assistant perspective, like if he was just like, "Yo, email all 6 big studios, tell them that I'm looking for a film," every single one would be Warner
Well,
Brothers
yeah.
included, saying, "Hey, just because we don't want you doing a superhero movie doesn't mean that we don't want you doing this other project," and that's
Yeah.
interesting as hell. Like he's probably in a pretty good position, even though people are like, "Oh, Batman v Superman wasn't received well." It made a lot of money.
Well, it's kind of like M.
Made
Night
a lot of
Shyamalan.
money.
Like he got like a rep for like bad movies and stuff. M. Night.
Avatar.
And then he just kept
Came
making
back.
movies and
He
you know,
refined
he
his
was-
craft
yeah.
too.
Mm.
He like went back to the basics.
Split
and
was
all
really
that.
good.
Exactly. I can't wait.
So
for
what if he
Glass.
did like a low budget $5 million movie for A24 directed by Zack Snyder?
Bless
What
you.
does that look like?
Shit.
a low
I don't know.
budget-
Doesn't he?
low budget Zack Snyder?
Like $10 million Zack Snyder A24 movie, or just like what does that do you think he goes like you were saying with the World War I type style, or is it more of like a like because you would
Now I want a World War One.
how much
Zack
could he
Snyder
possibly
movie.
do with the flashiness with $10 million?
Yeah.
And I'm sure you would still find a way to make it
You would have
with
to
his
do
own
it, yeah.
flair, but it wouldn't be the same visual effects. So that's interesting because it would force
Yeah.
him to hone in on the story. It would kind of put him under the magnifying glass and be like, "Are you a good filmmaker? Like, make a good make a 2-hour movie about this really traumatic experience or this really dramatic thing, and can you do it?" You know what I mean? It's like when people bring up 30 hours or whatever.
Oh,
I know the
37 hours. What?
Are you talking about the arm stuck or the military?
The military
sniper?
one with
Okay.
I was
and that's
talking- I was
directed
thinking
by
about the arm
Michael
one.
Bay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
people are always like, Michael Bay can't direct, and then people are like, well, look at that, look at The
Yeah.
Rock, and it's like, yeah, he can make these really
Michael Bay
serious
directed
movies,
The
but he
Rock. Oh
doesn't-
my god, I forgot. I
but he
love that
does-
movie.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, we
Pain
should
and
do To
Gain,
Be
that's Michael Bay
Continued for
too,
that.
and like, you know what I mean? Like, Pain and Gain's a pretty good movie. It's a little dramatized. I mean, it's Michael Bay, but it's not like the ass shots and ridiculous dick jokes that we know his movies of now. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Pain
Like,
and Gain was so weird. That was the one with Mark Wahlberg and The
Yeah.
Rock,
yeah,
right?
yeah, about
was a
bodybuilding
weird
and
ass
stuff,
movie.
steroids.
Anthony Red
Anderson?
Wing, or is that his name?
Oh
Anderson?
no.
Anthony. It's something. The Wings Falcon. Who's Falcon?
Oh.
plays him?
Anthony Mackie.
Yeah, there it is.
There you
Anthony
are.
Mackie.
Good job.
He was in The Night Before too.
That was a funny
Yeah.
movie.
What about Zack Snyder in a Christmas movie? What if
Dude,
he,
Zack
to bring
Snyder, A
something
Night Before
hopeful?
Christmas, live action.
Live action.
Live action. You just destroyed this claymation
Oh,
masterpiece, dude. No.
Oh yeah, huh?
Don't touch that. Dude, I
don't
read
know,
the other day
man.
that they're doing Lilo and Stitch, so they're gonna touch everything.
Lilo and Stitch
they're
live
remaking
action.
Yeah, they're doing a live action Lilo and Stitch. How
What
does
do
that
you-
even make sense? And if they don't keep the Elvis soundtrack, there's gonna be real problems and real hands being thrown
Oh, they're
by
done.
a guy named Garrett.
They're done. If they try and do that bullshit where they write their own music for it,
Well,
fuck
in the
outta
Jungle
here.
Book, you had the animals thing. Like they didn't do a whole big thing, but it was more like an Easter egg where you see Baloo like floating down the
Yeah.
river and he started like singing.
Whistling and-
It wasn't like a full blown out like song and dance, but it was just more of like a nod.
Yeah.
I feel like that's not. Do you think that's enough, or would you
I mean,
want to
there's
see
no-
like a hint to Elvis, or would you actually want to see your Elvis in there?
I
Because then you're just watching the same film twice.
I just feel
but
like-
you're also like
okay. So The only other option is that if they
Yeah.
do it like modernized, where it's like they love like something from like the you know what I mean? Because it's very like Elvis to me is very a part of that Lilo and Stitch story
Yeah.
with how he's playing the guitar, the ukulele,
That's
and all
his,
that.
like,
Yeah,
idol
that's
and
his
things
idol.
like- that's how
So
he
it's
modeled
like
himself, yeah.
you either have to replace that with something, but like at the same time, what do you like? Tekashi 6ix9ine. Fuck it, let's
No.
go. You know, let's do it.
No.
Yep, we'll give him some tattoos. Like, you know, when he's dressed up in the Elvis costume. Fuck it, we'll just give him a rainbow dreads, and he'll be chilling. He'll be chilling, dude.
It'll be all
He'll
good.
No, it won't be okay.
No,
This is
I
not.
think-
But that's the point I'm trying to make.
I
Is like
think,
it's
yeah.
shitty that like Elvis is so iconic. I don't even know like Prince, I guess. But like, you know, if you really want to change it, but at the same time, if you're gonna
Michael
still
Jackson.
keep the music in there, Michael Jackson could work.
That'd
But
be a good one.
See, I think that's the part because if you do it like modernized, then it feels very locked down to this like time period. But when you have
Bruno
like Elvis,
Mars.
I feel like there's. Well, what I mean is like
if
with
it's
Elvis
gonna be
Presley, there's
anybody
so
else,
much
it
time.
might as well be Elvis. Like you're
Yeah,
saying.
it might as well be Elvis. You get away with Michael Jackson. You need
Yeah.
somebody who can like stand out
Right.
and who's like enough time distance away from like the present day.
Oh,
that
the
you can, like,
Tekashi
use-
thing was completely a joke. I was just
No,
saying,
no,
like,
I doubt.
we don't have icons. Like, we
Okay,
don't have
right.
real
Okay,
icons.
woo.
Yeah. Producer
Kanye West.
listening. Yeah, no, yeah, but
Oh,
again, it's like,
Gotcha.
what does Kanye? I guess you
Yeah.
could do like the bit. Like, I just don't
it's-
think no
yeah.
one stands out except for that Elvis costume with the thing.
Yeah.
You could get away with a Michael Jackson thing, I guess. The Prince with the fro and his crazy
Well,
outfits.
Like, why would you change that if you're gonna
Exactly.
do something? Yeah.
That's we just
kinda hard
circled
to-
back. I love it.
Because you gotta take like adapting it. You gotta like take the style and the flow and the fun of it. You can like change a few things, but you still want to keep the heart of it, of like a movie when you're like adapting something.
What if he just doesn't love music and just loves like surfing instead? Or can they like replace
Did he
the
surf
music?
in the first
You
one?
know what I mean?
Completely
Yeah, because
different,
it's
but have
either
that
they
same
change the
impact?
artist,
Did-
which I hope they don't.
Yeah.
But what if they just change the passion into something else?
I think that could
That could work. Was
did
that
Stitch
more-
himself surf?
No,
I don't think so.
not
like,
in the movie. I
trying
think
to
he
think of
surfed
it.
later on in like the TV show
the
or some
TV show is
sequel
so cool.
or something like
I
that.
forgot there's a TV
But
show.
at
I just
first-
remember they're like floating cars at the end
Yeah,
of the movie.
he was afraid
Obsessed.
of water.
I
need to
That's why he
rewatch it.
couldn't,
I'm
like-
spacing on
Yeah, I
certain
want to
things.
rewatch it now too.
I watched it recently.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's on Netflix, right?
it is on Netflix.
Yeah.
I think both of them are on there.
Yeah.
I love the TV show.
I never
But-
watched the TV show.
Really?
No.
I had a good time. That was like
Miss-
middle school me after school. If not
Hell
younger,
yeah.
I don't know.
What will be another Zack Snyder approach?
Lilo and Stitch.
Lilo.
Lilo and Stitch.
No,
Zack Snyder.
bro, Zack Snyder. So, do you guys think the animated thing, just to close it out, is that possible? Ever? Not next,
Yes.
but possible. Could you see him doing an animated thing?
I'd love to see him work with like blending to like live action and animation or something
Okay.
like that. I think
That
that
was
would
a
be a
good
fun
point.
handle to like work with. It doesn't have to necessarily be like Roger Rabbit. You could have like that puppet movie that just came out. The cops.
Oh
and the
yeah,
puppet,
Happy Time Murders.
Yeah,
Murders.
Time
Happy
Murders.
Time Murders.
Something like that would be
I
cool
haven't
if he
seen
like
it, but yeah.
takes a different
Either.
like material or medium.
I like that.
I wouldn't want to see him in an all animation. Like
Okay.
No, yeah.
it could be challenging and fun, but I feel like
I
that'd
think
be a
it's
waste
more
of time.
challenging for him than for us, like as
Yeah.
viewers. Like we could get bored.
I
Like,
could see him doing like a
that's so true.
cool, like
Especially
Pulp
the story
Fiction
over.
type
Mhm.
movie. You know, like
Whoa.
some sort of
Yeah.
like gangster modern
Okay.
kind of version. You know, jumping around some,
Oh, he could definitely do a good like.
but like a
LA
modern
like,
version. You know, with
mm.
everything relevant to today's era, talking about relevant drugs, relevant music.
It'd be cool to see like a kind of like a Narcos Snyder,
Mm-hmm.
some kind of like. Oh, what about
the
like
gangs of New York.
What about him going into a TV series though, and like doing like a original series? Do you think that would
That'd
service
be cool, like
his story?
Boardwalk Empire or something like that.
Yeah, I want him to have the funding to be able to do something like well if he's gonna take on like an HBO show. Like
I feel like 10
something like-
hours would actually serve him well, because then he wouldn't feel rushed, which I feel like a
Oh,
lot of his
wow.
movies
He
either feel like
definitely
there's
feels
too
rushed.
much in there or it's
Yeah.
rushed,
Mm-hmm.
because he's trying to get too much in there. But if he has 10 hours to work with,
Are
you
you
know
sure
what I
he
mean?
might go over that?
Yeah,
he's
I
like-
swear to God, Zach, if you do 20 hours into then you just have a problem. You just have a problem in the editing
you
room,
need to
and people
slow down.
like you need to get a really good editor and just you just need to give him Final Cut and kick yourself out.
Yeah,
like,
seriously,
Like
that-
make the mess movie. I gave you 52,000 hours of footage. It's like Zach, it's a 2-hour movie. He's like, deal with it, and then closes the door, and he's just like, fuck, these are all beautiful shots, but I'm not using a majority.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
So I don't know. There's something there. That would be such a heartbreaking perspective though if there was 10 hours and it just felt still like
You know
Still
the same
rushed and
thing.
over.
Yeah, fuck.
On a lot of those like Netflix
Pass me
series
that
and
water.
shows, like you'll have a good like middle, like you'll have a good beginning half, but then the story will kind of like die out. Do you think that would be like something for Snyder if he's not used to that time limit? He'll have a great, like he'll have his room, but only be like 5 hours, and then he doesn't know what to do and like how to continue a story. Has he been able to do some good like sequels to his movies? I mean, Batman v Superman to Man of Steel aside, is there any others that you guys know that he takes a sequel approach on? I think he's very like one-off, and one. Like
I think they're all just producerial roles. Like
yeah.
Let's see.
So to him to do like a continuation where he has to keep generating like new ideas and for characters to grow, I think that could be an element to explore for him. That'd
So
be
do you
pretty.
think that's like where he could? I like how, and this isn't me saying anything, but when I thought about, oh yeah, he hasn't really done that many sequels,
Yeah.
but the one he has done was fucking the one that we shitted on. So you took such like an
What the-
optimistic approach that I was like, damn, you're a good guy.
Well, no, I just
like,
put the bullshit aside. It's
Okay,
just
okay,
seeing like it's still there,
I get
but
you.
it's like trying to not use that.
Let's take a gander at some of this stuff.
Oh, this is his
300,
listing.
Watchmen,
Watchmen.
and then
Why is Wonder Woman on
because
there?
he produced it. So this is where it gets weird.
So he gets those credits.
Dude,
Oh,
I forgot he did Dawn of the Dead.
I
Oh
haven't
yeah,
seen.
that was his like come into the scene, if I remember.
Dawn of the Dead was a good movie.
Oh yeah, he did that owl movie. He did do that. Oh fuck, he already did an animated movie, and that movie's amazing. If you guys haven't seen The Legends of the Guardians, it's something of Cthulhu or whatever. Like I forget the full title, but The Legend of Gahul,
Gahul.
or the Owls of Gahul. Oh wait, The Legend of the Guardian: The Owls of Gahul. Jesus. all
Wow,
right,
that
maybe
is a
That's why
mouthful.
no one saw it.
What are you doing, Zach?
What are you doing, Zach? But that movie's really, really touching, actually. Shout out.
Legends of the Guardians, the Owls of Gahul. Say that 10 times fast.
Real fact, the only reason why I watched that movie is
Okay.
because William, the guy who lives in this very apartment that we're recording at, I said, have you seen Guardians of the Galaxy? And he says, yeah. And I was like, dude, it's so funny. And he's like,
Wasn't that the movie with the owls?
Yeah, straight up, that's what he fucking says. And
Oh
I'm
my
like,
God.
what are you talking about? He's like, with the owls, like the animated. And I'm like, bro, I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. And he's like, hold on. He's like, oh, I'm thinking Legends of the Guardian. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And I had to watch it after that because I was like, one,
curious,
William
yeah.
said it was a really good movie.
Okay.
Two, this looks like a B movie. Like this looks like something that like
Wow.
PBS kids would play. You know what I mean? Like it comes on after Dragon Tales, but before
Yeah.
Arthur. Like,
What made him take that? Like, what?
no, I think that was like a passion project for him.
Yeah.
Like he has a lot of kids. You know what I mean? Like he has like a lot of like
I
children.
just
so,
made
like,
it to shut my kids up, honestly.
no, I mean like if you look at his films, they're all like
Pretty over the top.
at each phase of each kid of the kids' lives, like they're gonna have something to watch that their father made. Like I don't know, that's kind of cool. Like as they get older, they can watch like another one of their
Yeah.
dad's films. Like that's kind of interesting. I don't know if he
Yeah.
did that on purpose, but
I wonder how would you feel about your dad being like the lead actor in a movie?
I feel like
What does Jaden Smith go like?
I mean, it depends on how old you are.
What's his life like?
Because he's just taking it and running with it. He's like forever rich type shit. You know
Oh
what I mean?
no,
Like-
yeah,
like-
definitely.
Like where he could just do anything, it don't matter.
Okay, well, what
almost.
about
It's
Will
kinda-
Smith's other kid?
He's a Twitch streamer.
He is.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, huh?
He's a
Cool.
Twitch
I
streamer.
don't know.
Damn, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
He's got his own biz.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. I don't know how big he is, but he's really good at Fortnite. Anyways, but yeah, Fortnite movie directed by Zack Snyder. How long until
Yes.
they greenlight a Fortnite movie? And who
Any
do
day
you
now.
think would make it?
Oh, dude, Zack Snyder Halo movie.
I mean, that's the type of shit that it would be
Yeah,
awesome.
see, that would be a cool sci-fi.
But that's another
cool.
like series thing where if he had like a 10 episodes just doing some Halo shit, like
Ooh, Zack Snyder.
I feel like he
10
could make a
episode
ghost look
HBO
so
series.
beautiful with that purple tint. The
Dude,
vehicle.
he could do a really
Yeah.
good job with that.
Oh my god.
That would be super good. What other video games? Ooh, Zack
my God,
Snyder,
that'd be cool.
Bioshock.
I think he
Which
could
movie?
be the guy who could bring video games to like realism.
Oh
like,
my
you know what I
god,
mean? 'Cause
we just
everyone
found
has-
Zach.
Well, I'm thinking,
Contact us.
what if he
The
like?
to be continued podcast at gmail.com for more ideas for your next hit movies.
Yeah.
What do you think if he just directed a video game like story campaign? Like instead
for a
of bringing
video
the game to the movie, bring the movie to the game.
I mean, that would be amazing.
Like I feel like that would be a beautiful like set. Like you would feel great in that like whatever world he like.
That's
Sure,
where he
and-
would have the most fun, I bet, too.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as like people don't like to say his name in Hollywood, like shout out to Neil Blomkamp though for kind of being the man as far as like taking his own like approach. Like Hollywood kind of exiled him out after like making Chappie, and then like he almost made that Alien movie, and then it got replaced because Ridley Scott's like, but I made Alien, so I'm gonna make a movie instead.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like, damn, okay,
moves.
for show, I'm gonna just go start a studio. I'm gonna just make a bunch of short films and just go balls to the wall. And he started doing stuff with like video games as far as like consulting, from what I understand. And he was like getting into it, and it was almost like there was a point where like the video game industry was like name dropping him a lot, and it was like, oh, are you gonna just like get signed on to a studio and just be the story guy, like, and you can still make your movies on the side, like, if you're not trying to take studio funding and you're saying fuck the system, that's a beautiful way for you to get your stories out there in a world, in a playground where you can really just
Pretty much
bring it
do
to
whatever
life.
you
Exactly
want.
the same
And allow
idea
the
with
audience to be in there as well.
The
That
video
would be,
games would take on that guy, like a mother, like video game
dude,
fans would
Zack
be so
Snyder.
excited to see a Zack Snyder written story, because that's like the people that he talks to, like in my opinion. I don't know, I feel like the people who play Injustice love Zack Snyder, like you know what I mean, like that type of thing.
Imagine like playing Sucker Punch. That would be tight. That would be hard. That would be a really hard game.
Yeah.
But that would be a fun play.
Yeah, you're so right. There's a lot of like, it's easy to see video game versions like in his
just the other way
movies.
around.
They feel like video games, and that's like the best compliment that he probably doesn't want to hear. But it's a good thing
exactly.
in my eyes, where it's like, oh no, that puts his movies in a lens where it makes sense. Does that make like sense?
And there would be more,
I'm following, yeah.
Like it's like oh, if you look at it through this way, it's like these are all masterpieces. These are like these are beautiful video games, visual video games. I don't
No
even know what
offense.
you would call it. But no, I know that sucks, but it's like some of his movies just aren't. I'm not the biggest fan of Sucker Punch's story. I think that is a very shallow movie. But every single action piece,
Dude,
and
Zack
everything
Snyder,
looks
Call of
beautiful.
Duty.
I like the.
Aren't they making Call of Duty movies?
No, I mean, I don't think they actively are now, but I'm saying that from like, why aren't they? Like, I don't know, but they're talking about
They
it.
should have been.
I thought they were gonna do like a whole Call of Duty
I
connected
know there
universe
was
or
a
something
lot of
like that.
stories where people were like saying this is the plan, but I don't think there was ever. I haven't heard of like a writer's room with names. You know what I mean? So like, maybe they're working on getting there, but I haven't heard of anything in development, which sucks because it's like, why is that taking so long? Because you literally just make a war movie. Why haven't you just gone to an independent filmmaker and take their war movie and call it Call of Duty : blank and put it out as a movie? Like, it can literally be that fucking easy. It doesn't need to tie into anything. It
As
can
soon
just
as
be
you
a
put
war
Call of
story.
Duty up, everyone's gonna be like, I gotta check this out. Like, I just gotta check it out.
Call of Duty is such a good name for like a war video game.
I know.
Yeah.
It's so smart.
Who thought of that?
Man,
I don't even know.
I'm trying to think of like what good
Treyarch.
war would you have?
No, Treyarch.
Would you like do modern? Like, would you want to see the first Call of Duty be modern or like set in like?
I feel like you gotta go classic, man.
I mean,
That's
if
what
you-
Zack Snyder works best. The gritty
Are we talking about a Zack Snyder directed Call of Duty film and what he would
Set-
That
thrive
sounds like
in?
so much like
I know.
material like stacked together.
But in that case, I
set
feel like
1920.
it would have to be in the future. If
I would
Zack
love to
Snyder
see like
directed
Zack
it.
Snyder try to take like a not even like Call of Duty aside, but just like the idea.
drone warfare.
Well, yeah, a little bit. Like a movie just based after 9/11. Just like to see how the world like reacted and what we're gonna do and like all the things, lines that are being like blurred. But to have like Zack Snyder, and it doesn't. What if it was more like almost an anthology movie where you're like focused on multiple characters that don't necessarily intertwine, but the same like theme is there? Do you think you could do that?
That's
well,
how
or is
you would
that
have
too
to do
much
Call of
story?
Duty, in my opinion.
Oh yeah,
I feel like
okay,
it would
so-
have to be anthology films. Like, and
No,
I
no,
don't
Call
think
of
they're
Duty
gonna
series,
go
but
there.
yeah.
I feel like, but if. So you're saying like this? Oh, sorry. So I was still looking at that as like a Call of Duty
I'm talking
colon
separate
blank.
Call of
Okay,
Duty.
so this is just a story
Like
with that
Zack
setting.
Like, I feel
Snyder
like it would
getting, like,
start
the
with
feel
a
of, like, the
family.
panic.
Where have you? Okay, so the Panic I get, but where have you felt emotion in his films? Like, where have you felt the most emotion? Because for me, the one part that gets me still more so each time is when he and people laugh at this scene, and I think it's stupid, but like that they don't get it because I think it's beautiful. But it's when he doesn't go get his dad in the in Man of Steel. Like,
I thought you were about to say Martha.
Oh
Oh
no!
my
no,
God,
no,
that
no,
is
no,
so leading to that.
no,
Dude,
no.
I hate that scene with
I
the
love that
flaming
scene.
passion,
That scene
man.
breaks my heart because it's like he can save his dad, but he doesn't.
I mean, yeah, I get
because
it.
his dad
but
his dad told him,
at that point, I would be like, "Fuck no, Dad, I'm coming to get you." What the
but
hell?
his dad gave him the look like, "Don't." I'll be like more like, I'm doing this like
Yeah,
no,
it's
you
like
know
a
what I mean?
sacrifice to
So
keep
it's
a
like
secret,
that's
yeah.
the most emotion I felt, and even so, with that being the scene, that is one of the most controversial. Like
Yeah.
that's the thing people bring up where they either fucking love it or fucking hate it, like you just showed.
I
And
think,
I'm
yeah.
like, I'm in
I'm
tears.
sorry,
and you're like,
I
fucking
fell
hate
right into that trap.
Why?
But yeah, Martha's a close second.
Well-
It was real hard between that and Martha.
About the Smallville thing, I think people are like kind of spoiled by the whole Smallville series when his dad has a heart attack and Clark can't, or Superman can't really save him. Like
Right, yeah.
he's got all the strength, all the flight and all that, but I can't stop a heartbeat from, or a heart from like going into cardiac arrest or anything,
Yeah.
like, or a heart attack.
That's
Heart-
true.
Is that what happens during a heart attack? I don't know, folks.
I draw.
You
I
be
don't-
the guest. Same thing. Cardiac arrest,
But-
heart attack.
That whole. That's what I mean.
We're here to talk movies, folks.
Yeah, exactly.
Goddamn.
But
No, but
I
yeah,
feel
that is a very
that
like
is a better
that's what spoiled me.
representation. You're
that is
right.
a super like weird way to look at it, or not weird, but
But
like
in a
profound
9/11
way to
film?
look at it. Like
how much like I just have a hard time like giving him the reins to allow, like I feel like to give him the key to like,
like an
making me
emotional
feel
story, or-
emotion
no.
in like an emotional setting like that. I'm scared. I'm like, oh shit, are you gonna
Yeah.
be able to do this? Like it's like giving Michael Bay it sometimes, and like
Oh,
not
God.
in like that far, I would say, because I think Zack Snyder has a little bit more of like an auteurness to him. Where
Yeah.
he's like, ooh, I love the craft. But I feel like he loves the craft too much, where he loses sight on like the stories.
No, definitely. Like if
Yeah.
you have Zack Snyder do something, you want it to paint a picture, not to
Right.
like tell a story or have an emotion or even get like close up with characters and be like that. You just want him to really portray an overall emotion or feeling or like scene or like a message or like an idea, not so much just like following characters and like story. So you just have to put him on the right project to get that. So I mean, probably like big movies or big concept movies would be best for him. Not so much as in like close, like people
I
related.
want to see him do it, but I'm worried as fuck when it happens. Like I just feel like I would like to see what he does, because I think
Yeah.
that's the type of like difference that he needs to do. And when you said that, that's like really freaking smart, because it's like that's a complete antithesis to what like. If his next film after Batman or Justice League, like when you look at his like filmography, is like this heart-wrenching like 9/11 like character piece or something that like everyone remembers years later, and you're just like, oh fuck, Zack Snyder like did that, like
Yeah.
coming back
Yeah,
after like
but-
having a terrible studio big film experience, like
daughter.
that'd be and also
Yeah,
that of
just a
course
lot
like
to like.
he
Well,
could-
maybe that's his like change.
yeah,
you know,
and like
as
that
a
could
director.
be a change where
Yeah.
he maybe has a
Brand changing.
more of a emotional side, and that's exciting. But when we hear that happens, which I
Yeah.
hope we do, I will be terrified, because I'm
Yeah.
still thinking of Justice League Zack Snyder like taking on
That's-
some serious stuff, and I'm like, man,
sad.
I don't know.
I still don't trust him at this point.
I know.
Maybe that would be the new direction of like Zack Snyder and his films and approach, because he's been through so much that it'll kind of change his perspective of the world, and you'd want to like introduce that through a different way of like storytelling through film.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still gonna hold on to his like capabilities and skill, but maybe he just has something else to say now that he's like kind of been through a lot of the ropes just with like fan outrage alone.
Zack
But-
Snyder Titanic remake.
Oh my god. Well,
You know, wait,
Definitely
There'd
him
be
the
some
visuals
crazy
there.
visuals in there. Yeah.
I think you just hit the nail on the head with that, like how you're saying the new approach. Because one thing you got to realize with Snyder is that his wife is heavily producing all his films as well.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
So she also is going through the same thing.
Wow. So
if,
she
if
probably
they
really encourage him.
both come back, and
Yeah.
I know she's also producing Wonder Woman 2. She's currently helping produce that.
What's your name? Deborah.
Deborah, yeah, I think that sounded so right when you said it. So
I think it's Deborah
Yeah.
Snyder. I just remember seeing that name in the credits.
yeah,
I'm not sure.
yeah, she's a big time producer, like with a lot of DC and Warner Brothers films. Like she helps out with a lot of stuff.
Would you want to see him back on a comic book story,
I
or
would.
just like
I honestly
I would
would.
like him
I don't
in
know
the
about
Marvel
DC,
model.
but
Yeah, I would like him like in the Marvel like landscape, because I feel like they
I
have
don't
such
know.
a good like. I mean, I know it's kind of stupid, but I'm just saying.
I
Like,
feel
if
like
they,
he wouldn't fit into the Marvel universe.
But if they're
like, his
doing
Zack
stuff
tone
Snyder
of
like-
movies.
if they're doing stuff
That
like the
actually
Eternals
might work.
or like Blade or something, like I feel like
Oh, the Eternals would be
yeah, the
beautiful.
Eternals is like
Mhm.
that would so need him, or like they need a new
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy director, or like something like
Uh.
that, where it's like
Oh, damn, that's sad.
Because I feel like the Marvel model still allows you to go crazy with it, but they give you the script and they say this is what you're shooting, and we'll keep
they have
you
the
out.
directions, but they're definitely like keep it in your tone. Like
Yes.
with Taika Waititi, like keep that in your
Mhm.
phone. The Russo brothers, keep that in your but just hit the marks. I
Yeah.
feel like Joss Whedon
Yeah.
had some trouble because he couldn't hit the marks
Yeah.
with it. Because I mean, there's heavy studio like involvement with the Marvel
He wanted
films.
to make like a 3-hour film. It felt like with Age of
Yeah.
Ultron.
And then there's also that Ant-Man and the Wasp where he couldn't. So it's kind of just a deal, you know, where like, hey, you give us this, and then you can do whatever you want as long as you give us this.
Right.
Which is, I mean, basically how it usually goes.
So while it is a waste to do that, it would be interesting if you gave him the right property. I feel like
Yeah,
if you gave
having-
him, like,
yeah.
Fantastic Four or something.
Give him an introductory
Fantastic
project.
Four's been through too much, man.
you don't think they'll bring it back, bro? Because they are.
No, they're gonna
yeah,
bring it back for
they
sure,
gotta.
but they wouldn't give it to Zack
Nah,
Snyder.
I
They'd
know.
be like,
I would be-
no,
I would
no,
be
no.
disappointed if I saw that headline.
You
like,
can have something, Zach, just not that.
not
Like,
that one.
They do like young directors.
That is true.
Just not that one.
If you just, oh man,
like, you can pick
From
anything
Josh
you
Trank.
want. I want Fantastic Four. Okay, anything
Zack
but Fantastic
Snyder.
Four.
I wanted to see more Josh Trank, to be honest. Leaving that Fantastic film.
He has a movie coming out this
It was
year or
like-
next year.
I'm not sure. Do you know what
It's
it-
Josh
with,
Trank does?
Yeah, he got a movie. It's about I'm gonna pull it all up, but if I remember correctly, it's about like a gangster, like an old time gangster, and he's really famous, and everyone's gonna know his name, and I'm gonna be like,
Oh,
damn.
is it? Are you talking about Vice or something? like that?
No.
Didn't Josh Trank
but
get in
Tom
a fight
Hardy's in
with
it,
what's his
if I remember
name?
correctly.
Josh Trank got in a fight with
Is it Deadpool or something
Fonzo.
like
Yeah,
that?
it's
Or
with
no,
Tom
Fonzo?
Hardy, and he's
Oh.
playing Al Capone.
Okay.
But yeah, he got this film like a while back, and it's supposed to be out in the future. There's literally no date, but they started filming in April this year.
Oh, wow.
So I mean, like, if he can make a movie again, Zack Snyder's definitely making a movie again. That's for damn sure.
Oh, yeah.
Anything else you guys want to throw out there? Because I'm kind
Zack
of.
Snyder ideas?
I really want to see a Zack Snyder BioShock movie.
I think that works so good.
That'd be
Yeah.
sick.
What if you just keep it in like a survival mode, so that way you don't have to focus on the story, but just the suspense and thrill of it. So then, like, you're like kind of like Jaws and stuff like that. Like you have to beat your enemy, but in this, you just have to escape BioShock. But then you just have those obstacles that he can throw at you, and those personified characters that he can have, and like
Oh,
all
that'd
of
be
his
so
ideals
cool,
and stuff.
dude.
But it's a survival film where you're just watching one guy try to get out. So the story is pretty basic. It's just the A to B, but the whole fun of it is just what Zack Snyder gets to throw and like actually like play with without the restraints of like you have to make this character mean something to that character, like just without the mess.
Yeah.
Of it.
No,
Like,
yeah.
you can have like free room to just throw in whatever visual and stuff like that. Because I mean, BioShock, there's so much craziness in that movie, in that
Oh,
video
dude.
game.
See, you're already getting used to the idea of the
I'm
BioShock
getting-
movie.
But would you want
I
to
love
see
it.
Would you want to see a new BioShock or him do the Rapture, the city?
I want him
run?
to do the Rapture. I just want to see it over again.
What do you think? Because I've always had this like volcano idea in my head.
What's your
Like,
volcano?
A city in a volcano.
Yeah,
Huh.
it'd be hot.
I feel like you'd have to do. If it was a BioShock movie, I feel like you'd have to do.
I feel like the next.
It'd be hot. I just got that. Down. Fucking it. I feel like
next-
you'd have to do the underwater like Rapture.
yeah.
No,
Yo,
yeah,
you wanna
that's
start
where
out
everyone
with
knows
at
it
least,
from.
yeah.
That's
Okay,
where everyone knows
yeah.
it from. The next
Right.
obvious place for a BioShock series to go is like I feel like the moon or like Mars or something.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
You
And
know?
I'm literally thinking of the Call of Duty map, that little level where you're on the moon base, or whatever, and you're like shooting zombies on the moon. That's all. That's the first thing that came to my mind. I would think that'd be, like, a
Did you
fun,
play?
like-
Did you guys play BioShock Infinite?
Yeah.
I didn't play it. Is it the same idea that like the city went to shit pretty much?
Well, it was kind of the city was like still active and like thriving and stuff. It wasn't like a dead city.
Yeah, it wasn't completely dead, but there was like
It was
a lot of
dying.
corruption.
Yeah.
Damn.
All right.
But sorry,
Yeah.
I'm caught
No,
up
you're
on the
good.
space thing with the BioShock. So are you saying like the trailer ends and like it just zooms out and it's like we're in space, bitch? Like you know, like how like they
That'd be a
always,
great
like,
opening.
Yes,
Like, you know
that's
what I mean?
exactly
Like-
what I want.
The
like-
whole trailer's
like-
like underwater and stuff, but then as soon as you go in the
Yeah.
movie, that's just the exposition. Then you just pull out and you're in space, like on the moon base.
know,
Or no, you're just
bro.
in a shuttle going to
They
space.
control you so hard if they just
Right.
showed like the character, like the teaser trailer, he's just like in water, and then like maybe he submerges, so then
Yeah.
they're like, oh fuck, of course he's not in Rapture, and then it zooms out, and it's like, oh fuck, but he's not even on like any like.
He's not on
any-
fucking
yeah,
Earth,
he's,
bro.
He's not even like. But then is that Earth?
I definitely want.
Well,
First
yeah,
of all,
the
the
Rapture's
first
on
the
Earth,
first
but he
BioShock
could,
movie
like,
definitely has to be
You
Rapture.
could get him up to space, no problem. Wait, I'm sorry. You want the first BioShock, a BioShock like series?
Oh yeah,
Or
BioShock
just-
movie series. Hell
I
yeah.
would love that. I think
Yeah.
that story is I mean,
But more of like an anthology series where they're not like connecting, but they do exist in the same universe, really.
Well, they do connect in the
sense.
video games, right? I think
Like
there's
very
some,
loosely connected.
Yeah.
Easter
Yeah, I mean,
eggs
they
and
stand out
hints.
on their own and stuff. The whole Andrew Ryan plot twist, I love, man. That
Me
whole, like,
too.
would you kindly... man, it's
Oh.
trippy. What if it was a different phrase? What if he still said would you kindly, but Zack Snyder just had a different phrase?
I feel like
They're
you
like,
gotta, you gotta
that'd
have
be
the
a
would
cool-
you kindly. What else would it be?
I don't know, just like, you say would you kindly every now and then as like a decoy or something, but then you
Could
just
I
have
bother
something.
you?
Well, it'd be... Yeah, I was about to say character driven, but Zack Snyder.
Would you kindly? Oh.
Oh.
well,
Well, I guess we'll have to end it on that note, Darius.
Ah, yeah, we can end it
I
on.
feel like we continued Zack
Zack
Snyder's
Snyder's
future
career,
in a lot of different directions. I don't think we came to one that is the one though.
All right, out of
Is
all of
there-
it, what
is
do you
there-
think was the best? What do you think would you, if you had to say, we'll do a vote. We'll see or not
Okay,
vote, but we can
okay.
see whichever one. Out of all the ideas we talked about, Jake, what would you want to see him take on?
I'm gonna have to be selfish and pick BioShock 1.
Okay, yeah, that was good.
All
What
right.
would you say?
I think I like your 9/11 thing, dude. I'm running with it.
It was
Fuck
not my thing.
Yeah, I feel like it was. I ain't taking credit
No,
for
no,
it, so
yeah.
it's yours. I gave it
Yeah,
to you. It's not my thing.
You're listening.
Oh god.
How about you, man? What stuck out?
Well, for me, it was like kind of a tie between like the live action idea and him just going into a video game field. I would say the video game platform really speaks more to me because I would want to see him just channel something new because
And do whatever.
Like
Be-
the BioShock? Or do you have a
not
better
necessarily
video game?
BioShock,
What's a good
but-
video game off the top of your head? First one.
I don't know. With Zack Snyder, I want to see him take on new material.
Okay.
But or at least maybe continue material but in a different direction, like how Halo was all about the Arbiter, and you know there was the main aliens, and then it was zombies, and then now it's those builders or beyond. I forgot what the new, after Bungie sold their rights, it was like a whole
The
different like
Hive.
I think so.
No,
Some
I think
some
that's Destiny.
well they
Sorry.
had like a different
You said
Oh, yeah.
you said Bungie, and I was just like, oh, the Hive. They're coming. The Guardians. Guardians rise. Let's go. Where's my ghost? Where's Peter Dink? Let's go.
Peter Dick.
Let's go.
But no, it'd be like just to see him take on like a different approach. Like if he did Call of Duty, but like had not just people that they were fighting or like alien. I don't know. I want to see him just change up his style. I don't want him to adapt anything anymore. I'm sorry, I don't want him to do that anymore. I just want to see him like continue or see him.
Do you
just
want like
start
original
something new.
sci-fi from him,
That'd be cool. Yeah.
or like not even necessarily sci-fi?
I would love original, but I would just be really into like whatever he wants to twist and make his own. As far as like,
So you like if you did a Halo series, you want him to change things,
I would
like
want
that type of thing. Like, is that what you mean?
Yes, I would want him to continue the story of not just make his own version,
not just
of.
remake it.
Yeah, yeah, okay, that's the best way
I
to
get
put
you.
it. I don't
No, I
want him
just
to
wanted to
reboot or
differentiate.
remake. I would just want him to see him either continue or start something new.
That is true, because it does seem like if he goes just off of like if it's just like make Dark Knight Returns the movie,
Yeah.
like he struggles. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah. See, yeah. Adaptations.
Oh. Sorry.
Adaptations
Adaptability.
don't seem like his strong suit, but I think it worked so well with Watchmen because it was such like a people didn't really know about it, and that was more of like his definitive piece of Watchmen. If you didn't read the comic, in the comic,
And he
it
had
was,
3 hours and 35 minutes.
Yeah, and the
To
time
tell a
that he
story.
actually needs, right? But I feel like with the comic, it was like an alien attack, but he changed it and made.
Yeah, he definitely took liberties with
Yeah,
it.
he
though.
took a lot of liberty, and I think that's what he needs to do. Not be held down, you know. If he's a creative or artist, you know, let him roam free.
Come up with his own story.
Don't just that's how I feel about it.
I feel like no matter what, though, he's very talented. I feel like
Yeah, yeah,
that
that-
didn't come across. Like,
Yeah,
He's
we
very
do
talented.
enjoy Zack Snyder
Yes,
very much
yes.
so.
It's just like how you want to see him, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because he's great.
oh yeah, BioShock.
BioShock,
BioShock.
BioShock. It is.
More like BioRock, am I right? Great time.
Well, I've been Dare,
This is Garrett.
I've been Jake.
and we are.
To be continued.